Today, we're talking about the digestion problem no one is talking about and why it's draining your energy. So, welcome back to another episode of You're Not Crazy, You're Exhausted. My name is Tiffany. I'm a board certified and licensed nutritionist, and I get to the root causes so people can actually start to feel and function their absolute best. And today's episode is one of those topics that seems simple on the surface, but when you really understand it, it explains a lot of why people feel the way they do. We are talking about why you're not digesting your food properly and how that's directly draining your energy. Because most people focus only on what should I eat? What diet should I follow? But very few are asking, am I actually breaking down and using the food I'm eating? And the answer might surprise you. So digestion is not automatic. There's this assumption that if you eat healthy food, your body will just take care of the rest. And that is also true for supplementation. But digestion is an active, energy dependent process. Your body has to do all of these things to make it efficiently work. It needs to produce stomach acid. It needs to release digestive enzymes. It has to coordinate the muscle contractions to move through food through your body. And it will need to be signaling properly through the entire nervous system. And all of that requires energy and proper function. So if your system is under stress, digestion is one of the first things to get compromised. These are some signs you're not digesting well and that you might be ignoring it because it's been your normal for so long. Let's just make this practical. Poor digestion doesn't always look extreme. It can look like feeling full quickly, bloating after meals, burping or reflux, fatigue after eating, undigested food and stool, feeling like food just sits in your stomach for way too long. But it can be even more subtle, where you have nutrient deficiencies, low energy despite eating well, cravings because your body isn't actually getting what it needs. These are all clues that your body is not breaking down food efficiently. And this is why it impacts energy so much. This is the part that most people miss. If you're not digesting your food properly, you're not absorbing nutrients properly, which means you're not getting the amino acids needed for making neurotransmitters or the myriad of other vitamins and minerals that are needed to produce energy in your body. You're not fueling your cells effectively. So even if your diet looks perfect on paper, your body is still functioning in a deficit. This shows up as fatigue, brain fog, low resilience to stress, and slow recovery. And this is where the nervous system is connected. Digestion is not just about food. It's about your nervous system. Your gut has its own immune system, its own nervous system, and your body needs to be in a more relaxed state. It's called rest and digest. It is your parasympathetic nervous system that is primarily working when you are trying to break down the food. That is a state you should be in. So you need to stop eating on the run, stop eating at the car, stop eating at the counter, because we need to make sure that the parasympathetic nervous system is in play. If you're constantly rushed, multitasking while eating, if you're just generally stressed, eating on the go, your body is not prioritizing digestion. So even if you're eating a high quality meal, and again, taking supplements, high quality or not, you're not fully utilizing them. This is the common root issue behind poor digestion. And I see this all the time on the labs that I do with my people that I'm working with. These are the few patterns that I see over and over again. Low stomach acid. This is especially common in patients with low thyroid function. It's more common than you think, and it happens especially with people in chronic stress, which would be like a thyroid disorder, an autoimmune thyroid disorder. Your body isn't breaking down proteins, fats, and carbs efficiently when this is at play. The other thing I see is gut microbiome imbalances, where we have too much of one thing, not enough of the other, or when we have too little of the good bacteria and the bad ones are allowed to overgrow. These affect how food is processed further down the digestive tract and leaves you with symptoms. If you have eating patterns that don't support digestion, like rushing, skipping meals, drinking lots of fluids with your meals, or inconsistent intake, this is going to be a key player. if you are under chronic stress. And to be honest, who isn't in this modern day society? This alone can shut down optimal digestion. So this becomes a cycle because it compounds and it becomes a cycle because poor digestion increases poor nutrient absorption. So the worse digestion we have, the worse absorption we have. When you have poor absorption, you're going to have lower energy. And when you have low energy, you're going to have more stress on the body. And when you have more stress on the body, you're going to worsen your digestion. So again, here's another vicious circle. And now you're stuck in this loop. And it's the struggle to figure out how to get out of that loop. This is why people feel like I'm eating well, but nothing is changing. How many times have you said that to yourself? Now, here are some signs that this is your pattern. You might be dealing with it if you are feeling tired after eating instead of energized. You rely on caffeine to function, and you feel like your body isn't responding to healthy eating. And if you have ongoing bloating or digestive discomfort, your energy is inconsistent throughout the day. These are not random. They're all connected to how your body is processing food. So what do we do? How do we start? We're going to keep this foundational. We need to start with the basics, and baby steps are always the best way to start. So before jumping in to a bunch of supplements or extreme protocols, unless you're doing testing, then it's okay to do that. Slow down when you eat. Start with this basic. Just slow down when you eat. You need to make time for this. You are worth it. This alone can improve digestion significantly. Chew your food thoroughly. Digestion starts in the mouth. And if you are not chewing it because you are on the run and you're trying to shovel in all the food at one time to hurry up your process and get to the next thing, this is going to affect all of these things we've talked about today. Now you need to create consistency with your meals. So your body thrives on predictable patterns. This will help with many things with regard to your health, not just your digestion. And you need to prioritize that protein. This supports both digestion and your overall function. Reduce stress during meals. Even a few deep breaths before eating can shift your stress physiology, because digestion is not just about what you eat, it's about how you're eating, how your body is able to process the foods that you're eating, whether they're good or bad foods. So you might not actually be using the food that you're eating, and that is a practical piece of the puzzle. What is the point of eating a healthy, whole foods, nutritious diet if your body can't access the nutrients from it? This is a critical piece of the puzzle, because until digestion is working well, everything else becomes a little bit harder. If you want a simple place to start, you need to start by going back to the basics. If you haven't heard me say that before, you'll hear me say it over and over again. You're going to start with balancing your blood sugar, prioritizing protein, and reducing stress, any way that that looks like for you. And if this episode resonated with you, or if you know someone else that you've heard complain about these symptoms, send them this episode. And it's something that I think is really important to understand. And if you've been struggling with this for a really long time, I think maybe now is the time to actually get to the bottom of what is going on in your microbiome so we can recalibrate it, balance it out, and have you feeling so much better. And not just because you're used to how you've been feeling for so long. That is one thing I hear from so many people is like, well, I've been bloated my whole life, so this is just how I am. And the answer to that is it's just not true. You can improve it and feel better no matter how long you've been feeling this way. You just need to have a targeted and specific plan. If this sounds like something you'd like to dig deeper into, I want you to comment gut in the comments, and we will get you the information you need to see if it's a good fit for you. I would love to help you out. You have no idea how much better it could be. All right. Take care, and we'll be back with another episode on your gut health in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.